Y'all get ready?
Yes, you get ready.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Hey tea sippers, I hope you guys are doing good today. Happy Monday. Today is a messy day, child. It is so much going on. Shannon Sharpe is currently trending. Kanye West is trending. It is a lot of fuckery, and we're going to go ahead and get into it today. Now, Shannon Sharpe is trending because he is currently being sued for $50 million for allegedly anally raping somebody. I know Skip Bayless is somewhere skinning and grinning and rubbing his hands together like Birdman, honey, because he's not the only person tied into some sexual allegation lawsuit. So I'm going to go ahead and break this down, what's going on with Uncle Shay Shay. This entire situation is a hot damn mess. And so at first I was shocked. But then I saw the lawyer behind the lawsuit, and all I could do was roll my eyes. I said, not again. The last time I heard Tony Busby's name, I put a clown nose on him and that autism lady, and I kept it pushing. I have not paid no mind to Tony Busby and his shenanigans in months. But we got to talk about this situation because Shannon Sharpe is being accused of anally raping a woman in this new lawsuit. Okay? So let me go ahead and read the initial lawsuit. Then I'm going to show y'all Uncle Shay Shay's response, okay? Okay, so this is coming from People Magazine, so I'm going to read this to y'all. Got on my Mother Goose glasses. So it says, NFL Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe has been accused of rape and sexual assault in a new lawsuit filed by a woman in a Nevada state court. The plaintiff, who is suing under the name Jane Doe, alleges that Shannon Sharpe, 56, who now works for ESPN, raped her on multiple occasions over the course of a nearly 2-year rocky consensual relationship. According to a complaint obtained by People, the woman alleged that Shannon Sharpe also recorded their sexual encounters without her consent and shared the recordings with others. A woman can say yes to consensual relations with a man 99 times, but when she says no, even once, that means no, the complaint states. Defendant Shannon Sharpe, a man who was accused of getting what he wants, completely fails to understand this basic concept. The woman, now a Nevada resident, says she met Sharpe when she was 22 years old at a gym in Los Angeles in 2023. She claims he made multiple advances towards her before the complainant says she finally gave in. Shannon allegedly asked the woman to sign a non-disclosure agreement before she could meet up with him, but dropped the request after she pushed back, the lawsuit states. The lawsuit recounts an alleged incident during which she claims Shannon Sharpe became violent with her and threatened to kill her after she showed up late to his home. He demanded complete control over her time and body, expecting her to be at his house on his schedule at his command whenever he called, the suit alleges. In 2024, both Sharpe and the plaintiff individually moved to Nevada. The suit references the time in September 2024. Shannon says he mistakenly began live streaming himself on Instagram having sex with a woman. The plaintiff states that the encounter was with another woman, that she was humiliated by the incident and began to pull away from Shannon. The plaintiff claims that Shannon began flooding her phone with calls, prompting her to leave Nevada frequently, according to the lawsuit. The suit then describes an October 24th incident during which Sharpe allegedly forced the plaintiff into a car and took her to an apartment. The plaintiff alleged that Sharpe then forced her to perform oral sex before anally raping her. Sharpe grabbed her head, forcing her to look at him, and she sobbed. The lawsuit claims he said at that point, "Look at this, look at my arm. I've got chills. That's how good it is." In January 2025, the plaintiff claims that Sharpe asked to come to her apartment to give her a combined Christmas/birthday present. Once there, the plaintiff alleges in the complaint that he began to sexually assault her and refused to wear a condom. In a statement to People, Sharpe's attorney, Lainey Davis, firmly denies the allegations, and the statement describes the lawsuit as a shakedown attempt and claimed that the relationship between the woman and Shannon were consensual. Davis claims that the accuser sent sexually explicit text messages that show a broader pattern of graphic sexual communication initiated by the accuser. According to the statement, the evidence paints a clear picture that this was a consensual adult relationship that included role-playing, sexual language, and fantasy scenarios. Mr. Sharpe categorically denies all allegations of coercion or misconduct, especially the gross lies of rape, and will not submit to what he sees as an attempt at blackmail. He stands firmly by that truth and is prepared to fight these false claims vigorously in court. He looks forward to his vindication through due process and a judgment based on facts and law. The plaintiff is requesting $50 million in damages as part of the lawsuit, and she is being represented by Tony Busby, a high-profile attorney based in Houston, who's also represented clients accusing Sean Diddy Combs and NFL quarterback Deshaun Watson of sexual misconduct. I'm extremely proud to represent Jane Doe, Busby said in a statement. It takes a great deal of courage to stand up against those in power with fame and money. I look forward to pressing this case in court. All right, so you guys just heard that lawsuit. So now Shannon Sharpe literally spilled the tea on Twitter because he said he's not here for any type of shakedowns. So he posted some intimate conversations between him and the lady. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this. It says, statement by Lainey J. Davis, counsel to Shannon Sharpe. I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're fucking me. Gabriela Zuniga said in a text message to Shannon Sharpe on October 7th, 2023. That is my youngest son's birthday. This is disturbing. But anyways, then she goes on to say, I know you missed this big juicy ass. $25K for each cheek. Then Gabriela Zuniga in a text message to Shannon Sharpe on January 1st, 2025 at 9:50 p.m. So she ended up sending that text message to Shannon Sharpe on January 1st of 2025 at 9 p.m. Then they go on to say this, the lawsuit filed by Gabriela Zuniga, because now they're blasting her name. You know, you're not going to get to be Jane Doe. So they're blasting her and they're saying this. The lawsuit filed by Gabriela Zuniga and orchestrated by her attorney, Tony Busby, is a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharpe for millions of dollars. It is filled with lies and distortions and misrepresentations, and it will not succeed. In her effort to extract a large financial settlement, Ms. Zuniga presented Shannon Sharpe with secretly recorded video of a consensual sexual encounter. We believe the video has been heavily edited and taken entirely out of context, crafted to falsely portray a consensual act as non-consensual. Ms. Zuniga has refused to provide a copy of the full unedited version of the recording to Mr. Sharpe's legal team. To set the record straight, we are releasing several of Ms. Zuniga's own explicit text messages to Mr. Shannon Sharpe that clearly indicates the nature of their relationship, that it was consensual and sexual in nature, and in many cases initiated by her with specific graphic requests. Contrary to all the allegations that she makes in her lawsuit, consensual sex continued until January 2nd, 2025, the day after she asked for $25,000 per cheek, as quoted above from the text message to Mr. Sharpe. Here are other examples of text messages from Ms. Zuniga. So basically here she says, only if you put that baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever I want to me. I think she means then you can do whatever you want to do to me. Stupid freak, can't even write right. Then she goes on to say this. This is November 23rd of 2023. She says, I want to put my tongue in your asshole and then marry you. Ugh. Then another text from her to Shannon Sharpe on January 12th, 2024. That's my daddy. Fuck. I want you to put a big black baby in me. Interesting. She wants a big black baby put in her, probably for a check or a bag, you know. Then she goes on to say this on August 6th of 2024. You better carve it because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me. So she really wants to get knocked up by Uncle Shay Shay. So then the attorney goes on to say this. These messages are just a sampling of a broader pattern of graphic sexual communication initiated by Ms. Zuniga. The evidence paints a clear picture. This was a consensual adult relationship that included role-playing, sexual language, and fantasy scenarios, explicitly requested by Ms. Zuniga. Then the edited tape that Ms. Zuniga secretly taped and showed to Mr. Sharpe during her blackmail attempt tried to forcefully portray it as a result of this editing and out of context from the prior text message, that the sexual activity was not consensual. But Mr. Sharpe now believes her secret taping was all a part of her planned setup as part of her blackmail scheme, as distorted by her edited tape, a copy of which she refused to make available to Mr. Sharpe or his counsel. Mr. Sharpe categorically denies all allegations of coercion or misconduct, especially the gross lie of rape, and will not submit to what he sees as an attempt at blackmail. He stands firmly by the truth and is prepared to fight these false allegations, these false claims vigorously in court. He looks forward to vindication through due process and a judgment based on facts and law. This entire situation is nuts, literally. So, me being the person that I am, because now everybody's going crazy on social media. So I'm like, well, who the hell is Gabriela Zulinga? Somebody even posted this. They said, you let Gabriela Zulinga put a tongue in your butt? So I'm thinking, she an OnlyFans model. Who the hell is Gabriela? So I go to Google her name, and this lady pops up, right? And so what is so funny is that this lady, first and last name match, very pretty. She definitely looks like she's, Uncle Shay Shay's type, because, he likes them spicy. And so she wrote on her bio, she says, I'm not associated with Shannon Sharpe. I'm from Canada. And so I thought that was funny. And then I noticed as I was clicking on her page that she was disabling the comments in real time. But I ended up writing this, and I took a screenshot just because I'm messy. So I wrote this because you see somebody posted Uncle Shay Shay's picture. So I wrote, we are all here for the same reason. LOL, too bad it's the wrong chick. And I put it in quotes. No lie, you guys. Maybe 5 minutes after I wrote that, I came back to, look up some more receipts to try and, me, I look for receipts. All of a sudden, she privated her page. After I wrote my comment, she privated her page. So now you can't go on her page. So I have a feeling, again, a hit dog will holler. If that's not you, and that has nothing to do with you, I can see disabling the comments, but why private your page? You know what I'm saying? So I just find that very interesting. So I'm thinking that might low-key be her, and she's just saying that it's not her because now she's been exposed. But you never know. That's the only one that's come up so far, and she definitely fits the mold. She's young, 22, 23 years old, pretty. She's Uncle Shay Shay's type, so I wouldn't be shocked. So this whole situation is a mess. Uncle Shay Shay's currently trending. But now in other trending news, I also want to hit on this before I go. Kanye West. I don't know what the hell is going on with Ye, but he decided to drop a song today called Cousins. And in this song, he basically admits to having sex with his male cousin as a teenager and giving him head. This is insane. The song is disgusting. I just don't get where Ye is going with this. So he wrote this on social media. He says this song is called Cousins, about my cousin that's locked in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. Perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6, and then we acted out what we saw. My dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found on the top of my mom's closet were different. My name is Jay, and I sucked my cousin's peen till I was 14. That is extremely disturbing. And we know that Kanye West is addicted to porn. When we watched the Genius documentary, remember while he was, being interviewed by Kuda, he stopped to buy a porn magazine. Like, he had to look at some porn while in the middle of an interview. And even Kenya Moore called him out for playing porn and stuff when she went to go visit him one time.
I didn't date Kanye West. I went out on a date with Kanye.
How was the date?
He was crazy as hell. I talked about that.
What did he do?
I told this story. I met him. He was so sweet. He would call me all the time. He was a nice guy. This was years ago. This is way before Kim Kardashian. I don't even know. This was pre-Housewives. So this had to be, I don't even know the year, 2010 maybe? I don't know. So he invited me to the studio or something, and he would call and call. I was like, I just said, okay, fine, I'll go. Like literally after 10 or 12 calls. So we ended up going. He said he had to check on something at his house. We went into his house, and it was a newly renovated house or something, but all of the furniture was covered with plastic. Like it was all new furniture, and it like was this low. It was like modern furniture, but literally the kind that's sitting almost on the damn floor. So I remember sitting there on the plastic furniture, waiting for him to go check on whatever. I'm sitting there. 20 minutes go by, 30 minutes go by, 40 minutes go by. No Kanye. I'm like, okay, I hear this noise. So it's like a TV, but I couldn't really, so I'm looking for him. Hey, you know, so I start walking around the house looking for him. Hear the noise, follow the noise, go down into this room, and he was in the room, and then I walk in and I look on the TV and it was porn. I was like, I'm going home. I was like, what the hell?
Was he getting himself ready for some action?
No, he was just sitting there.
He wasn't like rubbing.
No,
okay.
he was literally just sitting there watching porn.
As if he was watching NFL.
Yeah. And left me upstairs sitting on the sofa, and I was just like, oh, I gotta go. And that was I saw him after that, like out, but I never went out with him again. I was like, oh no, this dude is crazy.
So he's been addicted to porn since he was a shorty, and I just don't understand how you take something incestuous, and if the cousin is younger than him, that is really disturbing. And you're basically trying to monetize the abuse. This is not a song about healing. He's basically doing this for clout and attention. So I was really disturbed when I saw this. I didn't find anything artistic about it. I thought it was just really, really disturbing. And unfortunately, a lot of this stuff happens more than people realize. You know, I've talked about this in the past, you know, child-on-child sexual violence and abuse. When kids are left to their own devices and, you know, their sexuality has been piqued prematurely via porn or, you know, possibly being molested by other family members, then they in turn do the same thing to either their younger relatives or cousins. So you have to sometimes watch kids. You can't just leave kids alone to their own devices. You know, unfortunately, sometimes this happens in households. But the way that he's putting it out there is just very disgusting, and it's very calculated, and it's more about making money than it is about healing or bringing any type of awareness to child-on-child sexual abuse. So the whole thing is just really sad. I mean, just last week he was screaming that his mom was a stud, and now this week he's talking about incest. So that's the thing. He's always, you know, tweeting out stuff that sometimes you don't know what to believe and what not to believe. And, you know, he has children. His kids have to read this. His daughter's on the internet. You know, it's just really sad. I just hope that people who have gone through this type of stuff, you know, are getting the mental health counseling and help that they need. But the way that he's trying to, like, glorify this and just put this in a song, I don't think it's right. I think he's going about it the wrong way. So anyways, those are my thoughts on the whole Shannon Sharpe, Kanye West situation. But I look forward to hearing from you guys. What do you guys think about this whole situation? How do you feel about Kanye West just coming out of the blue and, you know, letting everybody know that he was intimate with his male cousin for years? And then last but not least, how do you guys feel about the Shannon Sharpe situation with this lady, you know, trying to sue him for $50 million? How do you guys feel about the fact that Shannon was like, no, you're not going to sue me. I'm going to blast you. I'm going to put your name out there. We're not doing this Jane Doe bullshit. Do you guys believe Uncle Shay Shay that this was mutual, that he did not rape this woman and this is a shakedown? And how do y'all feel about Tony Busby once again being involved in this situation? So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Let me know your thoughts on this entire situation. I look forward to reading y'all's comments down below. Please hit this video with a like. Feel free to share the video. Make sure you still subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.